This is the story of the Thing Ben Grimm in Marvel Rivals. I am going to catch you up on the story so you can keep playing the game. So welcome to Chapter 1, Gangs of Yancey Street. The story begins where all stories should, with New York City being trapped in eternal night, overrun by vampires. The Fantastic Four, including the Thing Ben Grimm, worked tirelessly to protect the city's civilians, but not all of them want protection. As Ben patrols his old neighborhood, Yancey Street, he's met with hostility rather than gratitude. People are shouting from their homes, "Go home, you big lug!" People are throwing tomatoes right in his face. Despite their antics though, Ben Grimm continues checking in on the Yancey Street gang, ensuring their safety. While taking his usual route, he spots a young boy cornered by a vampire in an alley next to Kirchberg's kosher bakery, and the boy tries to act tough. "Hey, I told you lousy fangers, no one messes with the Yancey Street gang. We got friends in high places." The Thing intervenes, knocking the vampire's fangs out and sending it fleeing. The boy, still trying to save face, brags, "Coulda handled him myself, you know." Now Ben Grimm tries to play along, but then asks the boy for a favor. He wants intel. The Fantastic Four is searching for a missing friend, the Black Panther, King T'Challa. Now the boy hasn't seen him, but shares some troubling news instead. Some of the vamps around these parts aren't answering to a new king. And it ain't that old pasty guy living in that Central Park castle either. According to a friend, vampires have been spotted training in Washington Square Park, operating with discipline and organization, traits reminiscent of T'Challa's combat style. Now Ben Grimm follows the lead and finds a group of vampires drilling like soldiers in the park. Rather than fighting, he follows them to their hideout. He knocks right on their door, politely at first, then with a punch sends it flying. The vampires rush to attack him, but a voice from the shadows commands, "Tonight we shall make an exception." Stepping into the light, Black Panther appears, clad in ornate white armor adorned with beast-like designs. But something is wrong. His eyes glow red. His fangs are sharp. King T'Challa has become a vampire. Now Ben Grimm sees his friend's transformation and mutters, "What a revolting development this is." King T'Challa explains that after arriving from the intergalactic empire of Wakanda to fight the vampire plague, he fell victim to Dracula. He managed to resist his hunger but had to go into hiding. However, strangely, he discovered he could control other vampires, forming a disciplined army. And Ben Grimm muses at that idea and says, "Once a king, always a king." Yet, there's a problem here, because T'Challa's heart-shaped herb granted abilities have faded completely. His body is no longer enhanced. But the good news is he brought one herb with him, hoping Reed Richards could use it to synthesize a cure for the vampires. But Ben Grimm disagrees with waiting and says, "We could always find a way to get more herbs. But you can't be replaced." Knowing that he may have a point, the king reluctantly consumes the heart-shaped herb, and its purple glow surrounds him. His fangs retract and his eyes return to normal. However, there is an unintended consequence. The vampires in his army smell his transformed blood and go berserk. They are desperate for a taste of that sweet Wakandan blood. Now Black Panther notices this and says, "Dracula suggested that the herb made my blood irresistible to his kind. But Ben has an idea now." "Then give me some of it, your highness." King T'Challa slices his forearm and his blood drips onto Ben Grimm, coating his rocky hide. The vampires swarm him, biting at his skin, but they cannot pierce his rock-hard exterior. "Sorry, kids. I may be sweet on the inside, but on the outside, I'm just as tough as I look." Now, rather than clobbering the vampires as usual, Ben respects T'Challa's plea for mercy. "Mercy? But it was almost clobbering time." Instead, he smashes the ground, sending a shockwave that knocks them all unconscious. but the building begins to collapse from the impact as well. At that moment, Dr. Reed Richards appears in the doorway. "Fancy seeing you here, Stretcho, but I ain't complaining." Mr. Fantastic reveals that he tracked Ben's personal locator beacon and brought a special device, a portable version of the time stream reintegration device. It was previously tested with limited success, but Reed has refined it. So Reed Richards activates the TRD and time rewinds inside the building. It repairs itself, erasing all damage. However, there's yet another unintended consequence. King T'Challa reverts back to his vampiric form, undoing the heart-shaped herb's effects. But something unexpected happens. The vampires return to their human forms, as if their transformations never even occurred. And King T'Challa is stunned. He looks over at Reed Richards and says, "You have saved them. And now it is time to save you, T'Challa." T'Challa nods in agreement and says, "There is no one in this universe, or any other, that I trust more than you to do this job." Now Ben Grimm, also standing there, still exasperated by everything that just happened, turns to T'Challa and says, "After all we've been through? Yeesh. What's a guy gotta do to finally get a little respect around here?" And that, my rivals, is the end of chapter 1. And man, this story, dude. Okay, is this story good or what? Man, we got Black Panther. We have a direct continuation of the Black Panther story. We have a portable TRD that's revealed that could reverse the vampire's curse. So we're seeing a little bit of a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing where they may have figured out a small scale solution to the vampires, but also they reverted T'Challa back into a vampire. And the only way that he was able to not be a vampire anymore is with that heart-shaped herb, and they don't have any around right now, so they just kind of have to deal with T'Challa being a vampire. Luckily though, it looks like T'Challa, there's still some fight in T'Challa, so he is not just a mindless vampire, so at least there's that. So there's some story developments there, but I'm very interested in this portable TRD. I wonder how that's going to develop into the story, because for a long time, for a lot of these stories here for Marvel Rivals, it was Reed Richards, Shuri, and Tony Stark who kind of said, "Hey, let's take a break from the TRD. We don't really know how to power this thing." So they haven't really been using it or doing too much research on it. So it's kind of been almost like a non-factor for most of these stories. But now it looks like there's some active development now because they're doing some more research on Chronovium. So I'm very interested to see how this shakes out. What's also interesting is, these New Yorkers, they can never be satisfied. I'll tell you this right now. They're sitting out here throwing tomatoes at Ben Grimm. It looks like to me, the Fantastic Four are like the primary protectors of the vampires. Like, Human Torch is doing nightly patrols to fight off these vampires. You got Ben Grimm going down neighborhoods. Like, why are people so ungrateful? You better start showing some you better start putting some respect on the Fantastic Four's name. But I like this story a lot. I like it a lot. I like all Fantastic Four stories. There are some major developments happening. Very exciting stuff. But what did you think? Go down in the comments and let me know what you thought of this story. While you're down there, please leave a like on the video. It helps it get out to more people. It helps grow the channel. I would appreciate that. If you want to support the channel directly, YouTube channel memberships are available. Super things are available. I would appreciate that as well. But with all that said, I thank you for watching. But you have to remember, even though I thank you for watching, you and I, we are rivals till the end. And it doesn't matter if I eat some food, I get some food poisoning, and then you show up with a portable TRD, reverse time, so I no longer have food poisoning. And then my only reaction would be, okay, is this device good or what? I am never going to forget that.